Alright, so we are here to talk about the Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth games.
Digimon's one of those franchises that just vanishes and then comes back as it feels like, doesn't it?
Well, it's because we're in the West.
I mean, even in Japan, though, they'll go like 3 years without anything, and then all of a sudden, boom,
Yeah.
Digimon Savers, boom, Digimon Crosswords.
They've been doing a pretty good job of pumping out the deep hits lately. Seems like every couple months they seem to be releasing a new one. So it looks like the series is under like a full-time second wave of hype here, and I'm more than okay with that.
Oh, I'm fine with it. Thank God.
Yeah, there was a good stretch there in between Savers and Crosswords when I thought the series was dead.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And boy, man, especially for the games over here, we only had what All-Star Rumble, was it?
I don't want to talk about that actually.
I liked that game for what it was. It's the closest thing we'll get to a Rumble Arena 3.
Well, I remember playing it, and the story mode, I was doing it as Vmon, and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't play the same thing 70,000 more times. It never changes.
Yeah, that was the only problem. But it's a fun time sink if you need it. But the two games we're talking about today are not time sinks. They are genuinely good and engaging RPGs.
Yeah, so Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth was, I believe, the 5th game in the Digimon Story series, if I remember correctly.
It's kind of hard to say because some people say that World 2 is the first story game, but it doesn't have story in its title.
Yeah, because the first one was called Digimon Story, and that came over here as Digimon World DS.
Yes.
So
and then we had
Sunburst
and Moonlight,
which I think was I forgot.
Dusk and Dawn. They were Dusk and Dawn over here, but they were still called Digimon World games, which is weird.
It is weird because they were completely different. All the Digimon World games were completely different structure from each other.
Yeah, see, believe it or not, the only other Digimon story game that follows the first game's style is Next Order.
That's a podcast for a different time.
You still haven't even beaten the game, so that one will be a ways off.
I gotta rebuy it. I sold it.
Well, that's definitely a problem.
There was one, I think it was called Lost Evolution or something like that. It was Japanese only.
Lost Evolution. It sounds familiar, but I can't remember off the top of my head what that is.
And then the 4th one was the tie-in for Cross Wars, which Raspadamon came from.
Yeah.
It was called Digimon Story Super Cross Wars. One was based on Blue Flare, one was based on Twilight.
Yeah. No, Cross Art.
Because you play as Taiki in both.
Yeah.
And then one had Dark Knightmon on the cover, the other had Greymon on the cover. So there was like, So you can get Greymon in one and Skull Knightmon in another. And then this one came out of nowhere.
Well, it was out in a year. It was out for a year before it came out over here, and it was a PS Vita title.
And they poured it
everything, like every other RPG is in Japan.
Yeah.
At the time,
the portable PlayStation just JRPG powerhouses. But then they poured it over to PS4 and brought it over here. And I put 75 hours or something into the first one.
Yeah, because it was the first game brought West Side in. What was the time gap between Dawn and Cyber Sleuth? It was 8 years or something.
Almost a decade. It was a long time.
It was a very long time. So it was. What was that fan-run organization that was petitioning to get stuff over here?
I don't remember, but I remember you're talking about a band. I was like,
fine. You want it? Here you go. And then the game sold like crazy. I can't remember what game came out over here alongside it, but it
came out in February 2016 or something like that?
17, 18, something like that. And there was another major game that came out alongside it that it beat in record in sales for a week or two. But yeah, it definitely made an impact.
Oh, yeah.
The game's success did kind of start the Digimon resurgence in the West. Because ever since that game did well over here, just about everything's been getting released simultaneously worldwide.
We got Next Order around the same time. We got Hacker's Memory around the same time. Try got fully dubbed.
Yeah. Last Evolution's release is still yet to come out over here in the West. Thank you, COVID.
Yeah.
It should have been out 2-3 months ago now.
But we still haven't dubbed Hunters or Atmon.
Yeah, which just yeah, I don't know. It's weird because everything has been treated well over here except for the main anime.
The movies are getting dubbed though, so
because they have Adventure's name on it. Let's be real.
Yeah, so are they going to dub the reboot before they dub Hunters or Atmon?
You know what? Probably.
Oh, jeez. But
yeah.
Back on track. How do I actually describe the storyline of this game?
Basically, it takes place in an alternate world because, of course, it does. Where the internet's basically VR. Kind of like that idea. It made exploring Eden. I think that's how you pronounce it. Eden.
I say Eden personally.
Yeah, I'm not. I was never given like an English pronunciation for that. I know it's based off of some kind of religious.
Yes,
the Garden of Eden or something like that.
Probably, I think it's Eden.
Yeah, but whatever. And this leads. This place has hackers in it because internet, and it's almost like a gang thing there, where they have like
the translation in the game is hilarious because of all the internet slang in the game is hilarious to me.
Yeah, the first Hacker's Memory, at least the English translation, had a bunch of typos and mistranslations in it.
On purpose, I think.
Well, no, there's actually like a legitimate one that was like near the middle part of the game, where they were in what's her name's like bedroom office thing, and they were calling.
Talking about, yeah.
They were saying these Bakumon are attacking everything when they were talking about the Eaters, but it was a mistranslation because Bakumon or whatever was also Japanese for like monster. So they saw that name and thought that was the Digimon. So they left that name in the English translation.
No.
Yeah, so I was confused when I got to that part. I was like, I don't see Bakumon anywhere. I see Eaters.
But speaking of Eaters, they're these weird like squid things that just appear. And
yeah,
they're creepy. And they're gross.
And you have to delete they basically absorb memories of people who are in Eden and then leave their body comatose back in the real world, which is...
But those aren't the only things in Eden. Digimon have started showing up there.
Yeah. Because it's a Digimon game. Of course they are.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil the story too much. We haven't played it, but there is a reason the Digimon are there.
Yes.
And there is a reason your character is relevant to all this.
Well, of course. You wouldn't be playing him if he wasn't.
I mean, I don't know. There are some games where the character is more just a viewing glass for you.
Yeah, I guess.
Whereas...
one thing... because I remember when I first started playing this game, and I was looking at the way the Eaters were designed, and a lot of the aesthetics for this game. I was like, this stuff looks very like Shin Megami Tensei Persona-ish.
I've heard that. I haven't played Persona.
I can't. I think it's been confirmed that the character designer is the person who designs characters for those two franchises.
That would make sense.
Just as the person who did the OST for these two games, I believe, did the Danganronpa OST. So there's some pretty decent name people working on these two titles.
The soundtrack was pretty good.
It's very jazzy.
There's one musical piece in particular. I don't want to spoil it because it actually ties into the story a little bit. But there's one musical piece I really, really enjoy.
Is it the battle theme that we hear in the second half of the game all the time?
Against certain Digimon.
Yes. I knew what you were talking about the second you started saying it, because that theme is just yes.
But, something I will. That's a little. The three starters in this game, you could choose between three. They're really random picks.
Well, you could say the same thing for Hacker's Memory. They're just
that's true.
very strange.
Well, because if in a Digimon game you expect to pick like Agumon or Gabumon or somebody at the start like that, I don't expect Hagurumon or Terriermon or Palmon. Maybe Palmon because she was an adventure.
Yeah, well, one of them is a Tamer's Digimon. The other one is a Saver's one.
Hagurumon's a Saver's?
No, oh no, I meant Tamers, Terriermon and Palmon.
Yeah, Palmon's adventure, and then Terriermon's Tamers, and Hagurumon's just there. And it's just weird that those are the ones you start with.
Yeah, it's weird too because most Digimon games, like look at Dusk and Dawn, you were given like an original Digimon to team up with.
Yeah.
And the original Digimon for this game was Jesmon, actually.
Yeah, because this is where Jesmon first appeared, yeah.
Yep. And he was technically the new Digimon for this game, so...
I love Jesmon.
But I felt like...
I think he's awesome.
I guess they figured giving you Huckmon was a little bit too much.
Yeah, let's give you a Royal Knight.
Yeah. There you go.
That actually would have been cool for the storyline.
Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, it would have been.
but
whatever.
But everyone I mentioned, Agumon's obviously in the game, Gabumon's in the game.
Yep.
Every main Digimon is in the game except for Shoutmon. Shoutmon's not in this one.
In Hacker Memory, he is.
And Agunimon. So you have Agumon, Vmon, Geomon, and Geogreymon.
Yeah, if we're talking specifically about the original Vita and PS4 versions, then yes, but the Switch version has them in it.
Yeah, the Switch version. We'll circle back to that.
Yeah.
The game is very, very. It's just like a Final Fantasy or a Pokemon type game. It's
more so a Pokemon game because it's a monster collecting thing.
But so you have every Digimon has regular attacks you can pick. It's a turn-based RPG. So you can guard, you can attack, you can use items, or you can use special attacks. Every Digimon has their signature attack, plus a few others. So like Agumon has his baby flame, Greymon has mega flame, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and there's like some there's just like a
some megas and some ultras have 2 attacks.
Yes, they can.
Like Omegamon has Grey Sword and Garou Cannon. But...
And those are visually appealing because they're specific. Animations are specifically done for them.
They're usually more powerful too.
Well, yeah, because the other moves are they're all universal moves that anybody can learn. And so they just get like generic animations. So
yeah, they do.
None of those moves are really that good other than like the support moves, like the charge fields.
I mean, maybe if something's really low health.
Yeah, and you just want to hot shot without burning any SP.
Yeah. So
the game's Digimon run off of let's just describe it as Pokemon Gen 1 stat logic. You got your physical attack, which is, contact moves. Physical defense, which is contact defense. And then intelligence, which is magic attack and magic defense. So it's like the special attack stat from Gen 1. Which is weird that they would take that approach.
That is
honestly.
Weird.
Now that you think about it, yeah. And then, of course, the speed stat is the speed stat. Now, speed doesn't work the same way as it does in Pokemon. Because every fight, for the most part, is you have 3 Digimon out on the field at max at all times. And it's not turn-based in the traditional sense like Pokemon where everybody selects their attack and then fastest goes first. It kind of goes in a bit of a real-time order where the faster the Digimon is, the more attacks they get.
Yeah, so like, all four Digimon, they're gonna be like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
like speed stat is actually a little bit more broken here because it's not you attack first, it's you attack more often. So Digimon like Metal Garurumon, who is really fast and has a passive that increases their speed stat, is going to be firing off attacks like crazy.
Oh yeah.
So that's actually something that bosses do, is that they have like this incredibly high speed stat, so they're just lashing into you repeatedly.
Yeah, they do. What saying that though, I didn't find this game to be that hard. Honestly.
On normal difficulty, it's actually pretty reasonable. I mean, the hard fights are hard, but they're completely beatable. Hard mode, though, is a completely
that's
different
something
story.
else. Yeah.
I have seen people do a lot of the late game stuff on hard mode, and you have to resort to online cheeseball tactics to beat anything.
Because you can be level 99 max stats, and these things will still find a way to kill you.
Yeah, well, because you need to run like what, all force with double Lilithmon, and to explain how broken that is, all force is passive, and that's one thing I do like. Every Digimon has a passive ability in this game, and they apply to the entire team that's out on the field at the moment, which is honestly really cool because you can get some crazy stat bonuses that way.
And with all force, you always go first.
Yeah, your entire party attacks first, and then it starts the normal attack rotation. And Lilithmon, the Digimon that has these really overpowered attacks called Pierce moves, where they're moves that completely ignore their enemy's defensive stat and hit you for their raw attack stat. And you're basically able to just melt things with those. And that's like the only way you can beat anything in the higher difficulties.
Yeah, it could be unfair.
Definitely.
But something that I find the most interesting concept in the whole game, gameplay-wise, is how the Digivolution works. So,
you mean the large web of interconnected lines? Man.
So, if we take Pokemon, for example, Charmander always evolves to Charmeleon, Charmeleon always evolves into Charizard.
Mm-hmm.
Never changes, it's always that way.
Yep.
So Agumon, if you get him to a certain level, could evolve to Greymon, Geogreymon, Growlmon, something like that.
Yeah.
Like every there are certain Digimon that can only evolve into one. Like I think Pyildrimon's the only person who can evolve into Imperial Dramon. I think. Yeah.
But those are like very rare in specific situations.
Those exactly. Those are very, 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 very rare.
Mm-hmm.
But like you can, if you want Agumon, if you want Shine Greymon, okay, start with your Agumon, get him to go to Geo Greymon, get him to go to Rise Greymon. You can mix and match how you want these guys to go. Because when I was playing through the game, I was raising our Darumon because I wanted Alphamon. His stats just weren't working. So I digivolved a Cyberdramon into Alphamon, degenerated my Darumon back to the beginning, and got him into Jesmon. So
yeah.
I just went that far backwards with it.
Yeah, and I do like that because it allows you to be a little bit more creative with how you make the move sets, because like I was saying earlier, some of these generic moves that anybody can learn, some of them are actually really good. And well, like let's say this move called Acceleration Boost, one of the best like universal base attacks that anybody can learn. It basically doubles the damage of your next attack.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. But not every Digimon can learn that move. So let's say you have this Digimon, X Digimon name here, you want to give him this move. Well, you can always look around the really tangled Digivolution web and find someone who can learn it, degenerate him down to that, and then re-digivolve him up to your guy. Now he has a move that he can't naturally learn.
It's
and
insane.
Yeah, like Shine Greymon Burst Mode. The Shine Greymon line can't learn it, but you know who can? Base Greymon.
So yeah, just degenerate back to Greymon, and
get it, and then go back up to Shine Greymon. Now he has a move that War Greymon's supposed to have.
Which makes Shine Greymon so much better if you do it that way.
Oh yeah, and this is kind of like the base concept of how open-ended customizing and building Digimon are in this game. Because Pokemon, you compare this to Pokemon, and the next couple things I'm about to say are kind of craziness. This game has something called personalities, which is basically this game's version of natures, where a certain personality passively increases certain stats if they have it on them. You can change these willy-nilly.
You gotta find the items, but you can do it.
Yes, you can do it. Along with them having another stat called, what was it, ability?
Yes,
which is if it caps out at 100,
but
and this allows you to put
with every Digivolution you do.
Yeah, and when you cap it at 100, you can put 50 bonus stats into in any combination you want to, on any stat you want to. This is basically controllable EVs, if we want to use Pokemon terminology.
You could, if you know what you're doing, you can make some really powerful Digimon.
Oh yeah, you can. I know one of the big complaints about building Pokemon is how niche and convoluted and like math heavy it is and everything. Well, this game is just like, no, these items allow you to control this stuff. You can control this stuff. Go at it. Have fun.
And you know what? It doesn't take as long as you'd think to do that. Because grinding in this game, you get experience really fast.
Especially once you get the Platinum Numemon.
Oh my god, that thing.
Its passive basically doubles your EXP. You have 2 of those things, you get 4 times EXP for your entire team. Because this game has passive EXP share, basically.
On crack.
Yeah, you can get a Digimon from level 1 to level 99 in like 2 minutes. Easily.
It makes getting the Digimon you want not as complicated as you think it would be.
No.
There's a certain spot in the first game. I don't know about the second. There's one spot in the first game. You go there with a couple Platinum Numemon. Boom.
Oh yeah.
You're all set.
It took me like 3 or 4 days after I beat the game to fill out the field guide in this game from doing that.
It's not hard at all.
No, it's not. So the game is incredibly accessible. If you find, the intricacies of training Pokemon to be way too complicated,
just grind a little bit of Imperial Digimon Paladin mode in no time.
He's not joking either.
One of the most powerful Digimon ever. Can have him in minutes.
Can be yours in 5 minutes.
He's probably one of the best Digimon in the game, honestly.
For online, maybe.
I don't play this game online. I couldn't tell
you. It's not worth it because it's just all force, Lilithmon, Shine Greymon. That's literally it.
But the game is long. Really long. Like, to do all the missions, it took me about 75 hours to do everything.
Yeah. And that's if you're taking it casually without much grinding.
That wasn't me joking when I said at the beginning I put 75 hours in this game. I actually put 75 hours in this game.
Yeah.
I'd give you a screenshot if I could, but I can't, because when you play the second game, which is, here's my transition, it actually loads over your first save file. So it combines the two together.
You talking about the PS4 version?
Yes.
Well, you can choose not to do that.
I know, but I did it. Anywho. The second one, yeah, I am so conflicted in my head about it. And here's why. So the first one's story was actually pretty engaging for me.
One of the best Digimon stories I've ever experienced. Honestly.
Second one, not so much.
I mean, I feel like it's better when it comes to emotions, but it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of it has to do with that it's almost the exact same game.
Yeah, in terms of gameplay specifically, it doesn't change. It adds to the Digimon roster. Cool, no complaints there. It
I'll accept more Digimon.
Oh yeah, it reworks some mechanics and reworks some Digimon. Like piercing attacks got gimped a little bit, but they're still really powerful.
Some Digimon that were crap in the first one, they made better. Like giving Alphon as a Ryuken form made him. Oh boy.
Yeah. Because base Alphamon in the first game in Hacker's Memory is actually kind of crap.
Which is weird to me.
And then Alphamon or you can one-shot things at will.
Just hey, get out Ryuken. Oh, you're dead.
Yeah. It also adds.
They added Shoutmon, which is awesome.
Yeah, and they added the Susanuomon line with most of the Warriors of Fire and Lights lines to them.
I don't think Bale, Wolfmon, Aldermon are there, but everyone else is.
They're not, which is strange, but it's not that big of a deal.
I kind of wish Duskmon was in there, but that's just me.
Nah, I think the biggest thing they added was these things called what were they called? Conquest fights.
Oh yeah, because there were a couple like new like mini game type things. There's those commander. I forgot what they're called, but
yeah, the base conquest things. Those weren't terrible.
Yeah,
they were pretty. It was the conquest things, which were the board game things. Mm-hmm. Those, on the other hand, were not very fun.
I hate them. I hate them so much.
So basically, it's basically like the game's way of introducing a 3-on-3 tamer battle, and it puts you on this board map where every space you land on gets you points, and if your team hits 30 points, then you win. It's basically what's called conquest for a reason. You beat somebody, or somebody gets knocked out, and they revert back to their starting position. Some of these in the late game can take like 40 minutes.
They take forever, and it's annoying. And you don't get experience for it till the end. And
and you're not allowed to use items in them either. So there was this one time where I got one that was pretty much like a stalemate. I would move up, this guy would knock out the last guy I had, and then I would revive, and I would meet him like a couple spots in between my spawn point, knock him out after 2 fights, move up to like the same spot on the other side of the map, he would knock me out, and it would just go on and on and on.
It just never ends, yeah.
Yeah, those...
And I thought the side cast in the second one, not as good. I don't like them as much as I liked the two from the first game.
The only one that was interesting was Erica. And there's a lot of spoiler reasons as to why. And if you played Hacker's Memory, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'd rather, with video game podcasts, I don't like talking about the story. I'd rather you play them yourself.
Yes. But she's the best character in this game.
Yeah, because your main character, I don't even remember his name.
I'll give him this though. He is more expressive than Aiba is, who is the main.
But I liked Aiba's story better.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I'm not going to complain, but the guy here, he is a lot more expressive.
Well, he looks like a doll. He looks like an action figure.
He has. I remember when he was first revealed, everybody was like, "What is that face?" He had like the death stare.
He kind of looks like Tageru. I'm sorry. He's a better character than Tageru is.
Most things are.
Not that that's saying much, but
that's a very low bar.
Yeah.
So there's probably one of my favorite aspects of this game, and it's something that not many people bring up, is that both games take place in Tokyo, and they actually recreated the locations to a T.
I've looked into it, and they really do like that Broadway area, Nakano Broadway.
Yeah,
1-for-1.
Yeah, 1-for-1. Akihabara. They even have the Sega advertisements all over the place.
I love the Tekken 2 poster that's sitting in that one spot on the top of Nakano.
Oh yeah, like I said, Ikabara. Yeah, however you pronounce it, it's tongue twisting me. They have the Sega advertisements everywhere. Like there's Miku posters and stuff in the game. It's creepy.
It's crazy.
So that's actually kind of cool.
Something too is we didn't mention this. In the first one, you're a detective. You play as a detective.
Yes.
Which I find a lot more interesting than playing as a hacker. I just do.
Yeah. Because some of the storylines in the first one for a lot of the side missions were actually interesting because of that. Like they were genuinely well written mini mysteries.
And this one is like, oh, hey, go hack this.
It's like,
hey, do this.
This scumbag is messing with me. Go punch him.
It's literally, hey, this guy's being mean to me. Go beat him up. That's every side mission in Hacker's Memory.
Yeah.
Well, the one I forgot which one this was in, but the one with like the people jumping off and killing themselves.
That's in Hacker's Memory.
That was creep.
That one and the doll mission from the first one.
Oh my god.
Dude, those were genuinely unsettling.
Yeah. And I've never thought Digimon could be unsettling, but oh man.
I actually have a friend who got the Switch version, the complete edition for the Switch, and he was like, I got these. How good are these? And I'm like, they're really good. So I was kind of giving him some kind of like hints and everything. And then he got to this one mission where he was talking to me when he started. I was like, this doll mission is creepy. Are they selling sex dolls? And I just told him the ending of that mission is gonna mess you up. And then he comes to me like 5 minutes later. He's like, I'm uncomfortable.
I get it. I definitely understand.
It's like I told you that mission was not okay.
Speaking of the Switch version, that's the version of this game to get.
Yes. It's if you want it physical, it's actually kind of hard to find now, but it is available digital. And basically what it is you have both games together. Awesome. It applies the Hacker's Memory Digimon Edition and reworks to the first game, so it's the definitive version of the first one to get easily. On top of the fact that it actually gives Aiba alternate costumes, which is something the original version didn't have.
My thing about that though is it almost makes me feel like Hacker's Memory is just obsolete at that point. Because that was all Hacker's Memory had going for it, was that it had the rebalancing and the extra roster.
Adding the changes to the first game makes the first one superior. But if you like what the first game has to offer, then Hacker's Memory is not bad, because it's just more of the same with some...
I mean, you know what? If you start with Hacker's Memory, you'd be okay.
Yeah.
I think so, but I started with Cyber Sleuth, so...
Yeah. But yeah, I know that, especially now, with the kind of questionable state the Pokemon franchise is in. And I hate doing like direct quality comparisons between the two series because that's been going on since the 90s and it never ends well for anybody.
And you know what? There's not, aside from monsters, Pokemon and Digimon really aren't that similar.
No, they're not. But with the kind of questionable state the Pokemon franchise is in, I know there's been a lot of people that have been wanting a more, interesting and engaging game of that style. These games will definitely fill that quota for you easily.
And look, and here's the thing too. I am a Pokemon fan. I like both franchises. I like Pokemon and I like Digimon. Yep. These two games have been better to me than the past at least 2 generations of Pokemon.
Yeah.
I did not like Gen 7 at all.
I like Gen... I mean, going off on a little bit of a thing here, I do like Sun and Moon because I think it changed things up enough to make it interesting, but I can understand why some people wouldn't like it. Sword and Shield, I have things I like about the games and things I really didn't like about the games.
Sword and Shield, I'm so mixed on.
Yeah, like, the wild area is great.
The whole game should be the wild area. The whole game should be a wild area.
I don't mind them turning off the making the EXP share permanent, but getting experience points from catching Pokemon is just too much experience. It really is.
The problem with that too is they did that in Let's Go, so they're just like, oh, let's carry it over.
Yeah, they carried over probably an ass. I mean, it worked for the Let's Go games because there were no wild Pokemon fights. But in Sword and Shield, that was completely unnecessary. Now I know that the Cyber Sleuth games have that on permanently also, but the game is balanced around it.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Which Sword and Shield are not.
Sword and Shield is so easy to break.
Yes. Like, take me and my brother's comparisons for that. My brother captured a lot of Pokemon, so he actually breezed through the game. I only captured who I was going to use, and the game was actually kind of hard at times.
See, for me, my friend had gotten the game a week before me. So we did some level 5 raid battles with him.
Oh, yeah.
We got all those like candies, and I skyrocketed my Pokemon's levels by like 40.
Yeah.
Nothing could touch.
So yeah, if you don't have Sword and Shield and you hear people complaining about it being easier, just catch the 6 Pokemon you're going to use and then save the catching for afterward. It'll make the game a little bit more engaging. But even then, it's not the hardest game in the series.
To be fair, Pokemon is never really difficult.
No, but I mean, with the audience getting older, you'd expect it to age up with the audience, which it's not really doing.
Digimon is also this game. I feel like it's a lot more knowing of what its audience is.
Yes,
because there are curse words in there. There are curse words in the dialogue. There is adult themed stuff going on.
Oh yeah, there's some actually disturbing stuff that goes on, between the lines, in person, and I know like the mission to mission fights aren't the hardest, but man, some of the boss fights in this game,
some of the extra
can beat you down.
Some of the extra boss fights, like Grand Dracmon. Oh man,
yeah. Like if you like RPGs with really difficult super bosses.
Like the first game, you have to fight all 7 demon lords, and some of them are jerks.
The Lucemon fight, man.
Lucemon is mean.
You want a 40-minute marathon fight. Well, there you go.
Yeah, the Royal Knights can be tough.
Yeah.
There are some really powerful super bosses in there. So
probably the only complaint I would have with the first game is that the true final boss is a joke.
The true final boss?
Yes, the boss that ends the story.
Oh, the final boss. Okay.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah,
what
the
I
actual.
usually, yeah,
No, I'm talking about the
when I hear
final boss.
when I hear
Yeah,
true final boss, I think of like the final hazard or something like that.
no, I'm talking about the boss that ends the actual story.
That thing is not hard to beat.
No, literally, I can one shot it.
That's when you can one shot the final boss, you got problems.
Because I did the Royal Knight post game bosses before I beat the story the first time, because I wanted Omegamon for the final fight.
I'm sorry.
So I did all those. Those were just crazy difficult. And then I went to take on the final boss, and I'm like, why did War Greymon just one-shot this thing?
Oh, man.
What the heck was that? That was the final boss? Okay.
Yeah,
I think the final boss of Hacker's Memory is actually harder.
I mean, it's harder, but it's not that bad.
No.
Not compared to some of the super bosses. Just
Oh, no. Yeah, and if you want other things to do in there, there are Colosseums, which are basically like mini boss rushes that grow in difficulty over time, and the ultimate cup in both games are really challenging because they're like a good 6-7 fights of super boss level that you have to do in a row.
The last one in the first game, Mr. Navit. Oh man, that guy.
You haven't gotten to the final one in Hacker's Memory yet, have you?
I haven't tried.
You will pull your hair out by the second fight, and that one goes on for about 10 fights. And you will start pulling your hair out by fight number 2.
I'm already running low on. I'm running low on hair as is. So
that whole cup was mentally exhausting, but it felt so good to beat it when I was done.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it is brutal.
The best character in the game is Jimmykin. That's all I'm gonna say.
There's some people that genuinely don't like the guy, but he's so over the top that I can't help but love him.
He's hilarious. I love the guy.
You thought, and I'm only comparing him to this guy because they're both music-based enemies, but Meyer B from the Pokemon Shadow games.
Oh, you're a bad person.
Fear him and his team of Ludicolo.
Oh Jesus!
Do 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 do.
His team never changes either. Jimmykin always has the same team.
Oh man, I can't get over just imagining the Ludicolo dancing to his boss fight theme is something that never gets exhausting. But yeah,
Jimmykin is. God. I can't see it now.
Yeah, Jimmykin is hilarious because his only talking volume is louder than you want him to, but that's kind of the charm.
Yeah.
But there's the Coliseum stuff. There's metal collecting, which is, for me, a bit of a hassle because
it can be a nightmare. It can be a nightmare.
There's some metals that you can pick up from wild encounters. There's metals that you can pick up from finding them in the hub world, and then there's gotcha machines all over the place that you can basically gotcha your way to getting them, and it's about what you'd expect. You just stand there, press A button for 5 minutes, and get one medal 50 times because it's common. But they're good ways to make money because there's somebody at the very top of Broadway. What's that place called again? Mikado Broadway.
Yeah.
Who will buy them off of you and give you some good items, some good money for it. But it's also, you can look at it and see the collection that you have, and it's just, if you like collecting stuff, then that's kind of your appeal there. I haven't completed the metal guide in Hacker's Memory because there's like 200 more.
Oh man, are there really 200 more?
Yes, they added so many more medals because they added all of the warriors, all of the elemental warriors, all of the Cross Wars Digimon. They added just a ton more medals and I haven't gotten around to finishing that Metal Guide yet. I have the one from the first game completed.
Now, I wonder if they're going to do a third one.
No, they said they're done with the CyberSim universe. I think it's played its course. It's run its course. It had 2 solid stories with 2 solid games. It needs to stop there.
Yeah. Alright, fair. I want to see where the next Digimon game goes, though.
Well, Survive, but we don't know when that's coming out.
Yeah. How many times has it been delayed now? How many times is it supposed to come out?
They said it's still supposed to come out later this year, but I'm not buying it.
Mulan was supposed to come out this year, too.
I don't think anybody wants that movie to come out anyway.
That's true. A lot of things were supposed to happen this year, but, 2020 is a joke.
2020 is going to be a fun year to read about in history class in a couple decades.
Oh boy.
But yes, if you're a Digimon fan, get these. If you're not a Digimon fan and you're looking something to fill that Pokemon void, these games will do it for you. You don't need to be knowledgeable in Digimon to enjoy these.
This game will definitely give you a Digimon crash course.
Oh yes. It actually does a pretty good job of delving into some of the lore behind the Digimon mythos as a whole, which I really liked. Because my brother was learning about stuff, and I was like, "Yep, that's true. That's true. I knew that already."
Like, the first game focuses very heavily on one group of Digimon specifically.
Oh yeah.
And if you didn't know about anything about them before, you're gonna know everything about them by the end of this game.
The second half of Hacker's Memory revolves around a Digimon that we've only seen once before in manga form.
In the manga.
Yes. V-Tamer, I think, is what it was.
It was the one with Tai.
Yes, they really they really carry over his impact because he's known as one of the strongest Digimon in the mythos of the series, and
he lives up
to it in Hacker's Memory. So they both have set pieces that will get you integrated into the mythos. So if you're not a fan and you want a game that kind of fills that Pokemon void, this will do it. And who knows, it might catch you on the series also. Heavily recommend these two.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I could definitely say without a shadow that these are easily the 2 best Digimon games.
Yes.
Without a shadow of a doubt. And
100%.
I'll be honest, I've always been a fan of Digimon anime. Never so much into the games, really.
Yes. I mean, some of the games have been good. World is okay. I haven't played World 2 or World 3, but I've heard good things about World 3.
I haven't played any of them since I was a child. And 4 sucks.
Yes.
Digimon World 4 sucks.
Hey, here, Agumon, have a sword. Yeah!
The first Digimon World DS game isn't bad, though.
Yes. And Next Order, we'll get to that one later, because there's a lot, and I mean a lot, to go into with that one. That's probably one of the most in-depth video games I've ever played.
Yeah, this is a lot more... This is a lot more accessible than...
Yes.
Digimon World Next Order.
Digimon World Next Order, I didn't fully figure out what the heck I was doing until after I beat the game.
If you're a fan of games like Pokemon, like Final Fantasy, like Dragon Quest, like Chrono Trigger,
yes.
maybe not so much Chrono Trigger, but
yeah,
this is a game for you, especially if you're a fan of the license already. Even if you're not, and you're just looking for a good monster hunting game.
Yeah. It's accessible. It gives you a lot of freedom. Stories are great. Just totally worth it.
Totally worth it. Good soundtracks. Graphics aren't the best.
The OST for these games are incredible, man.
I mean, the graphics aren't anything to write home about. Like, if you played other games like Spider-Man, Batman, Arkham Knight, The Last of Us.
It's because they just upscaled the Vita graphics.
Yeah, that's true.
And it shows. Unlike with Next Order, where they pretty much built the game from ground up, again, with the PS4 graphics engine in mind, Next Order does look better than these games.
Yes, as
but
much,
that's because the PS4 version was built with the PS4's graphics engine in mind. Like I said, these two games were just upscaled and cleaned up PS Vita graphics, so they are a bit rough at times.
I will say,
but...
I'm a Dragon Ball fan. These probably do a better job representing Digimon than Xenoverse does at representing Dragon Ball.
Well, Xenoverse is just fanfic nonsense. These are their own established Digimon continuities.
But Fighters is still the best. So, anyway.
Not gonna totally debate you there.
But yeah, I would recommend them, especially if you have a Switch.
Yes.
Especially if you have a Switch.
I would say if you don't have any of them right now, get the Switch version because it has a definitive version of the first game easily.
If you don't have a Switch, PS4 version's not a bad option.
No, it's still incredible on its own right, but it's kind of outdated now with the lack of changes.
But yeah, with the Switch version out, you should definitely play that version.
Yeah.
But I think that's, unless you have anything else to cover.
No. I've said my piece.
Yeah. I got nothing else, so
we've praised these games enough.
I mean, yeah, I can't think of anything else I'd want to say.
No.
It's actually, if it's a praise I could give a game, grinding does not frustrate me here like it does in Pokemon. So,
Absolutely.
There you go. That's like the most backhanded compliment I could give a game, but there you go.
Well, in all honesty, that's probably one of the worst parts about the Pokemon franchise is how horrible. Even the best games, grinding is so.
Unless
boring.
you're on an emulator and you could 10 times speed it.
Yeah, unless you're playing Pokemon Showdown.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
maybe Gen 9 will put something like that in. Who knows?
I don't know.
That's a discussion for a different day.
Yeah, so we are done here.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap us up. Thank you guys so much for listening to us gush over some monsters from another dimension.
Yep.
Japan. All right.
Peace.
Take care, guys.